What's up, hockey fans? How's it going out there? Thanks for tuning in. Gotta get my microphone over here and ready. Exciting win for the Kraken, a spirited effort out there on the ice. And, you know, the boys are still playing for something here. They got 2 more points tonight. Calgary looked a little bit frustrated. But Kraken got to pack things up pretty quick. This is the first of a back-to-back. They go into Winnipeg tomorrow. So as great as it is to get that win tonight, can't mess around too much. You got to go face that Jets team in Winnipeg, and they're pretty good. So got to have your game ready for tomorrow. But tonight, take it in a little bit. Seattle takes down Calgary. Both of these teams desperate for points in the standings if they're going to keep their playoff hopes alive and have a chance at a wild card spot. And Seattle gets it done. 2 critical points, keeping that glimmer of a hope alive. Looks like we got a couple people in the chat tonight. So let's say what's up before we get too far. Thanks for being here, you guys. We got Megan and Cynthia. Cynthia says it was a heated game. Definitely was very heated. A lot of emotions going on out there. I like to see the Kraken kind of standing up for themselves. Maybe a little bit more. I would like to see a little bit more of them standing up, but I thought they did okay. Megan says, hell yes, that's Kraken hockey, baby. And also, dirty hit. Yes, Postgame was definitely mixing it up out there tonight. A couple of questionable hits. That first one on Larson. We'll talk about this during the breakdown, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some supplemental discipline on that second hit that he delivered to Dunn. But you know what? The Kraken, they got it done tonight, and they stayed about as composed as they could have despite some of those antics. And Postgame quickly getting a little bit of a mark on his back here, and I'm not sure that's exactly what he wants. He's not really a fighter, as you could see, turtled up a little bit in that match there with Ty Kartye, but we're going to talk about everything here throughout the evening, you guys. Not too long tonight, but I wanted to hop on live because it's important to keep this going. The Kraken aren't out of it yet, and, you know, let's bring them home all the way to the finish line, see if they can get it done. 15 penalties, Cynthia's saying, in the third period. Sheesh. Yeah, so there was a lot of penalties handed out towards the end of this one. Jets better look out, says Megan. Definitely Kraken coming in. They're a team that can get streaky if they can get this scoring going. You know, they put 4 on the board tonight. That shorthanded goal by McCann was huge, and we'll talk about that during the breakdown as well. But yeah, if the Kraken can get streaky, you never know what can happen. So have a little bit of faith. It's not going to be easy. I'm not going to try to trick you into thinking it's going to be an easy run to get into the playoffs, because it's pretty much, it'd be very, very, very unlikely and surprising. But we're going to keep rooting for them either way. Alicia Crank, what's up? Good to have you in the chat too. Says more fighting. Yes, and I love the spirited matchups towards the end of the season. You know, both of these teams fighting for their lives and literally fighting on the ice as well. Megan says, I'm here for hits, but belting a guy's head into the ice, hell no. And, you know, into the boards there, dangerous position. These are the kind of hits you got to get out of the game, and it's just not necessary, especially at that point in the game. I'd rather see clean hits. I thought that the hit on Larson at the beginning maybe a little cleaner than the one on Dunn, but both of those were questionable. So we'll see. We'll see what the league thinks. Maybe the 5-minute major was enough towards the end there. Maybe they're going to give him a suspension. But we'll talk about that as we go. If you guys would please hit the poll question for me tonight. The big talk today has been about Alex Winberg, where he might end up. So the poll tonight, what team do you think he's going to end up on? The Rangers have been talked about quite a bit. The Avalanche as well. The third option there is other. So if you're in the other category, let me know in the chat what you think where the Kraken player Alex Winberg is going to end up here, because it's an eventuality. It sounds like it's not an if, but when, and not if, but Winberg. So yeah, sorry, had to do it. Anyways, okay. Cynthia says give him the Makar treatment. I don't know. I try to not get too into the I don't know, eye for an eye type of stuff, but we'll see what happens. I'm sure at some point the Kraken will have their chance to exact some revenge in one way or another. But tonight they exacted their revenge on the scoreboard. Megan also says, can you explain what that hit was only worth 5-minute major? So, you know, during the course of the game, they gave him the misconduct, so he's kicked out of the game immediately. He gets the 5-minute major, so the Kraken get a full 5 minutes of power play, but they took a penalty just after that as well. So then it was even up for about 2 minutes there, and then they went back to the power play to continue that 5-minute major. So it's not just the 5-minute major, it's also the game misconduct, so he misses the rest of the game. And then I believe that's an automatic review from the league, or they can take a look at it if they want to and add some supplemental discipline, potentially a fine or a suspension. So we'll see what happens. keep you up to date on that. Alicia says, is it ladies' night in the chat? Definitely feels like it so far. Oh, but there's Spartan. Spartan chiming in, representing the guys. What's up, Spartan? Great to have you tuning in from Texas, I believe. Nice to see Groovy have a win and Turbo a point and a fight. Turbo was wound up tonight, and I like that he threw down the gloves there with Coleman at the end, not putting up with that trip along the board. It felt like the Flames were just kind of playing dirty throughout, and then they didn't want to answer the call, answer the bell a few times. So kind of frustrating to watch that as a fan. Shiny Stuff, what's up, says, long time no chat. That game escalated quickly. Give Turbo the hat. Yeah, I love how he stood up there, dropped the gloves, blocked shots, taking pucks off of the knees and eyes and everywhere. He was just banged up by the end of the game. So hopefully Turbo can put some ice on all those wounds and be ready for tomorrow, because we need him. He's the heartbeat a lot of times for this team. Gord as well. He played good in this one. Megan says, can Hack review the hit and appeal the 5-minute major? No, that's not how it works. They can challenge for goalie interference or offside. So they can't. The referees can review the hits and make sure that they adjudicated the proper call on the ice. And that's what they did, but the coaches can't challenge in that situation. So I think they were provoking Turbo. Just me. Yeah, it felt like they were provoking a lot of guys throughout the evening. And that's kind of the brand of hockey the Flames will play at times. And maybe more so tonight. They're a little bit frustrated because their playoff hopes are also looking a little bit grim, and then you get beat up by the Seattle Kraken coming in tonight, and they're a team that had every reason to be a little bit bummed out. Sounds like one of their friends and buddies is going to get traded here soon. So, yeah, it's kind of winding down to the point where it's like you got to put it out all on the line, and if you don't, you're going to fade away into the sunset. But if you have that extra little burst, maybe the Kraken have it. Let's see what happens. I don't want to be, too overly optimistic because their chances are pretty grim, but it's very possible. And, you can't rule them out until the math says so. So let's stay a little bit positive and enjoy the win at least tonight. So let's talk about things. I'm going to keep breaking it down. My name's Mike. Sasquatch NHL is the channel name here. If you don't know, now you know. And if you're enjoying that video, the video tonight, hit that like button for me. Subscribe if you don't. Chime in the chat. Love to hear from you guys as we go through the recap. And again, vote on the poll question. So far, the poll results tonight, people think Alex Winberg is going to be headed to the Rangers, and that seems kind of to be what the main theme is, at least over on X and Twitter. Some of the tweets coming out from the Rangers organization and writers over there seems like they seem to think they're the front runners. So we'll see what happens. Sometimes there can be some wild cards that happen during these trades. It sounds like it may be a 3-team trade. Maybe another team's going to retain some salary for the Rangers. So maybe a couple of players, prospects, maybe a second rounder moving around. We'll see what happens. Avalanche, the last place pick there, 14% of you think he's going to go to the Avalanche. 57% think go to the Rangers. Other is the other vote there. So let me know in the chat, if you did vote other, where do you think Winberg is going to end up after the trade deadline or leading up to it? Might happen here in the next couple of days, depending on whether the agreements are all in place and the trade makes sense for everybody. So that's the poll. Thanks again for tuning in tonight, you guys, live from the Sasquatch studio. I haven't been able to be live as much this season, but it is fun to be able to do it when I'm able. So thank you for being here and supporting the channel and chiming in the chat. You guys are part of the show. Try to make you guys part of it as we go. We're going to read off every comment that I can here in the chat live. And if you want to weigh in the replay in the comments, I'll try to reply there as well. So keep them coming, you guys. We're going to talk about the story of the game a little bit, set things up coming into the evening, the Kraken roster, which might look a little different here soon. Look at the stats of the game, 3 stars. Let's also hear your 3 stars in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from if you're new to the channel as well. And like I said, please, hit that like button if you're enjoying the video tonight. And one more time, the poll question, we're at about 67% now. People think Winberg's going to go to the Rangers. So I'll update the results as we go here. But let's get into the game day setup just a little bit as we came into the evening, into the match tonight. Both teams, like I said, fighting for their playoff lives. Flames were 30, 25, and 5 coming into this one. Kraken 26, 23, and 11. Kraken grabbed that win, so they're going to be 27, 23, and 11 now. Flames 30, 26, and 5. And I believe both teams are now just 5 points out of a wild card spot. So great job by Kraken to gain a little bit of ground. Now you got to hope that the teams in front of you are going to drop some games. It seems like the Nashville Predators in particular just can't seem to lose, and maybe they never will again, but let's kind of hope that they do. The Kings also kind of in the crosshairs, but they have some games in hand that we do not. So got to keep an eye on that. We've got about 20 or so games left now, I believe. Maybe just less than 20 if I'm counting right, but I don't count very good on the fly. So got to keep track of everything. The Flames, it kind of feels like maybe they're a little bit more frustrated just based on what I saw tonight. So maybe they aren't going to make that big push, and maybe the Kraken will. Gregory Vini, what's up? Good to see you in the chat as well with the fish emoji smiling there. Oh, yeah, 100 franchise wins. Thank you for adding that, Spartan. That was on my list too, just hadn't got to it yet. So thanks for contributing that in the chat. Like I said, you guys are part of the show as we go through here. But yeah, that's huge for the Kraken 100th franchise win. Really cool to see. A lot of them. I don't think I've missed a whole lot of them. So yeah, 100 wins under the belt. Pretty awesome. All right. So the Flames, like I said, fighting for their lives, just like the Kraken. Chris Tanev traded, that's Brandon's brother, was traded over to the Dallas Stars. I believe they got a second-round pick back and a prospect and a third-round conditional for that one. So Flames dealing just, in the lead up to the trade deadline. Kraken now maybe going to pull the trigger as well. With Winberg, maybe potentially some other players. Let's look at the roster here. And like I said the other night, it could change dramatically here pretty soon. But trade targets, obviously, Alex Winberg, potentially Eberle, but it sounds like he wants to stick around and the team's willing to negotiate some sort of deal to keep him, or maybe in the offseason they come to some sort of agreement. Tomas Tatar has been rumored. Justin Schultz also on the defensive side of things rumored. We'll see what happens. All this is going to shake out over the next few days. Friday, March 8th is the trade deadline. So you got to stay tuned in. Be careful also over on X or Twitter. A lot of times you'll see some reports go out from fake accounts trying to look like, some of the bigger real accounts. This happens every year. So double check who's tweeting and what you're retweeting. And, it doesn't always, you don't always have to be first to report news. I saw a couple of things today that were reported just, from some friends that weren't true. So just, I don't know, I would say everybody take a breath. I'll like your tweet if I see it and it's correct. But yeah, it's better to let the reporters and the pros do what they do. Let that news come out and kind of support them through that. Because this is a huge moment in the year. It's going to change the team. It's going to change a lot of teams. So I like to kind of sit back, eat the popcorn, and then maybe recap things a little bit later in the day as it all plays out. But yeah, just a couple of things on the mind. How is Tuna being traded? He's just freaking got here. Yeah, I know. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm kind of on the side of the fence that with you there. It doesn't make a lot of sense to flip him right away just because he's fit in so well. Maybe he's found a home. I feel like you can move him around in this roster, but who knows? Ron Francis, it could be a very valuable piece that another team really wants. And if it's a trade that you can't say no to, maybe you got to move him. And maybe he doesn't fit into your future plans based on potentially what youngster you're going to bring up into the lineup or, plans you've got for the offseason in place already. We'll just have to see what happens. But that's a look at the Kraken roster. One other note there, Andre Burakovsky back tonight. So it's great to have Berkey back. We just haven't got enough Andre Burakovsky over the last couple of years. So when he's healthy, I'm really happy when he's healthy and in the lineup and contributing, but it's been kind of few and far between. So let's hope he can stay healthy. Maybe we can go on a little bit of a run here and make that wild card race interesting. That's what I'm hoping for the guys. Belmar, Riker Evans, healthy scratches again tonight. And depending on what happens back on the blue line, maybe Riker Evans is about to see a lot more minutes here soon, potentially if Schultz gets moved. So we'll see. All of this pending the trade deadline coming up here on Friday. So keep the comments coming. You guys are going to keep reading them off. Going to get into the recap here. Says, no way, Driegs and Tuna go. I'm out. Okay, well, you just got to see what happens, Megan. I get it. It is hard to lose players that you like, but it does happen every year. It feels like we lose guys. That's just part of the deal, part of the business. You're going to lose guys to free agency. You're also going to lose guys at the trade deadline. But like I said on the podcast the other day, we are going to potentially get some new faces. So I know it's not fun to lose the guys that we love, but maybe somebody new coming back can kind of fill that void a little bit as a fan. So let me make sure I'm not missing any comments over here on the X side. I don't get a whole lot very often, but I think they just added that feature not too long ago. So I try to keep that chat open over here. keeping you guys on YouTube open over here. So keep it coming, you guys. Let's get into the breakdown tonight. First period, talk about the game, talk about the goals. And it was a very spirited match. A lot of action, and it started right away. Grubauer and Markstrom in net for both teams here. Pospisil set the tone early with that hit on Adam Larsson, kicking things off. I didn't like that, but no penalty on that one. Kraken, coming into the night, it felt like if you can just kind of stick to those good habits like you had in that last game versus Edmonton, minus the part where they didn't score a whole lot of goals. But if they stick to those good habits, they would have some success, and that's kind of the way this one went. We go about 3.5 minutes into the game, Kraken a 2-on-1 rush. You got Gord and Tolvanen. Gord, passed it right into the defender there, but I like to see the legs moving, some chances early. Kraken keeping the momentum going. They move the puck into the zone. Tolvanen goes low to high, passes up to Vince Dunn. He shoots there. It hits Tanev in the slot. Kind of a deflection a little bit there, and Yanni Gord ends up with the puck. He scoops it, scores it. Kraken grabbed that early 1-0 lead, and that's Yanni's first goal in 19 games. So a little bit of a drought for Yanni Gord, but it's good to see him get out of that schneid and Kraken on the board early, which they weren't able to do in the game prior. So love that start from Seattle. They score on their first shot of the game, and they proceed to take the next 6 shots, totaling 7, with no answer with Calgary at that point at all. So like I said, a good start. They get the payoff early. Brandon Tanev blocking shots. In some pain, goes down the tunnel, comes back. Just a warrior tonight overall. And then Calgary starts to get a little momentum, though. Going at Grubauer, hitting the net. Oops, let me fix that so you can see there's the Yanni Gord score there in the first. But yeah, Grubauer was ready. He hadn't seen a lot of pucks up to that point, so a key stop just around 6 minutes left in the first. Not very easy to do when you haven't seen a whole lot of pucks, but getting it done. Good job, Grubauer. We go about 5:06 now left in the first. Oliver Bjorkstrand gets called for holding. Flames get a power play. Kraken. Penalty kill pretty good tonight. They shut down that first power play. No shots for the Flames. Penalty kill comes through there. We go 1:29 left in the first. Puck turned over by the Flames. Bjorkstrand finds it, sends it to Schwartz there on the right side of the net down low, and a beautiful opportunity. Markstrom, a really good save there on Schwartz. He looks to the sky, frustrated. Would have loved to have had a 2-goal lead coming out of the first period there, but either way, a solid start for Seattle. Megan says, Tuna and I share a birthday, and Chris was the first Kraken I loved. I remember we talked about this on a stream before. Big Chris Drieger fan, so it's going to be interesting to see where Chris Drieger ends up. I think he's going to kind of play out his contract in Coachella, and we'll see what happens this summer. Maybe he ends up back with the Kraken. Maybe he goes to another team. But yeah, Tatar, who knows with that? That's going to be interesting to see as we get towards the deadline. So we go second period now. Kraken continue pushing the pace to start the second. I'm going to fix this over here again. But the Kraken, right out of the gate here to start the second period, Adam Larsson drives the net. Good chance. Kraken players parked net front. Tolvanen almost puts one in. So a good start there. 5 minutes into the second now. Flames start to push back a little bit here, and chances starting to make their way towards Grubauer. More pressure in the Kraken zone for the Flames. Gru, though, holding his own with that additional pressure. And then things start to get a little rough. 12:47 left. Ty Karche drops the gloves here. Lands a few punches on Pospisil. Reminding him that Big Cat, that hit on him earlier, was not appreciated by the Kraken. You love seeing the spirit from the rookie, standing up for his teammate. He did get the extra penalty, though. Pospisil didn't seem too interested in fighting there. Kind of turtled a little bit, if we're being honest, but that's the way it goes. But Ty Karche gets 2 extra minutes there, being a little too aggressive, and the Flames get a power play, and they quickly tie the game. Kuzmenko jams one home from the goal line down low there. Good work by the Flames power play. So they break through, and it's 1-1. Sometimes you got to stand up for your teammate. It backfired a little bit there, but I'm still okay with Ty Karche sticking up for Adam Larsson. Under 10 minutes to go now in the second. Calgary has clawed back into the game at this point, evening the shot totals. They've evened the score. Shots are 16-16. Drew makes a really nice glove save on their 16th shot of the game. And critical moment here. Moments later, just right out of the commercial break, Seattle gets back to work in the Flame zone. McCann, some great work on the forecheck. Kraken gained possession. Puck comes back to Jared McCann. Down low, he deals it from behind the net. Out front to Bjorky, just waiting there, and he buries the shot. Kraken reclaim the lead 2-1, and that is just a huge goal in the second period there. Moments later, Matty Beniers breaks in all alone. Another big chance. Breakaway for Matty. Markstrom stops that one, though, so the lead stays 2-1 in Seattle's favor. We go to the third period, and things just keep rolling here in the third. Kraken just streaking out of the gates in the third period. It was quite the start for them. Adam Larsson, the big cat, gets a goal just 21 seconds into the period. Great setup from Jordan Eberle here. Eberle took a hit to dump the pass down into the corner. It worked its way into the corner. Matty Beniers grabbed the puck there in the corner, turns, saw Larsson streaking to the net, gives it to him, and Larsson just absolutely buries the shot. Kraken claimed that 2-goal lead back early in the final frame. A really huge boost of momentum there into the third period. Moments later, Flames called for roughing. Kraken go to the power play again. Coleman that time on Borgen, so another big opportunity, but Beniers just a moment later after that took a penalty, kind of defending himself as well, so it nullifies the power play. Even up there, 12-14 left now. Flames counter again. They get some sustained pressure in the Kraken zone. They send a few pucks towards Gru. Kuzmenko again breaks through. Kraken were kind of trapped and tired on this one, and the Flames just kept pushing. Kuzmenko wired that one from the top of the faceoff circle. So the Flames clawing back. They're down 2-3 at this point, and they follow that up with more pressure at the Kraken net. The puck gets tossed over the glass by Vince Dunn. You can see in the replay there, he just hit it with his left hand, got up out of the arena, or out of the rink, so that's a delay of game, and some tense moments coming up here. Kraken scrambling around, trying to survive this surge from the Flames. Shorthanded, a couple of chances. The most dangerous one trickles through behind Grubauer there. The Kraken contain it. Gru reaches back with his glove, covers it. Seattle kills the penalty. But don't get too comfortable, because with 9:27 left now in the game, Jamie Alexiak called for high sticking, and the Flames go back to the power play. Again, never a dull moment when you're watching Kraken hockey. And the Kraken penalty kill, very active on this. Shorthanded, almost they have a goal shorthanded on the rush, but the Flames bring it back down. McCann creates some havoc on the blue line, takes it back, grabs it on a breakaway. He's in all alone, and he scores. Huge goal. Jared McCann with the shorthanded goal. 4-2 lead for the Kraken again. And that really just kind of started to drive the nail into the Flames' coffin. And the Flames then decide they're going to play dirty hockey again. Pospisil from behind takes Vince Dunn into the boards. Really dangerous hit here. Drives his head directly into the boards. And so he gets the 5-minute major. He's tossed out of the game. I won't be surprised if there is supplemental discipline, but who knows? You know, you never know with NHL Department of Player Safety. We'll just have to see what happens coming out of that. Tolvanen, so the 5-minute major, then Tolvanen takes a hooky penalty. Basically, a lot of rough stuff to end things. Brandon Tanev drops the gloves with Coleman, and he lets the Flames bench know all the way down the tunnel that he was not thrilled with the way they played tonight. But the Kraken get the win. They effectively finished that one on the power play. Salted away 4-2. Huge win for your Kraken on the road, and they're going to need another big game. A lot of energy is going to be required tomorrow against a very good Winnipeg Jets team. You guys, thanks for making it with me through that recap. A lot of goals, a lot of things to talk about, but I wanted to touch on every little thing that I thought was a big moment or an important part of this game tonight. Because we don't have a whole lot of chances to celebrate these wins at times this season. It's been frustrating, but tonight I feel like was a really big kind of, a respectable win by the Kraken that they can hang their hat on and move forward and see where they end up. Maybe they're going to get some trades happening here soon, and maybe the team is going to look different, but the guys let you know tonight that they're going to keep battling all the way to the finish line, and I love to see that from the Seattle Kraken. Cynthia says that breakaway was great. It was electric. When Jared McCann grabbed that puck at the blue line, just went streaking down the ice. Kind of had that good feeling that it was going to happen, and it did. McCann has been incredible again this year for the Kraken. Can you imagine where we would be without Jared McCann? He read Markstrom's movement so well. Yeah, it completely faked him out and put that one in the back of the net. Jared McCann, MVP again for the Kraken tonight. Won't be surprised if he's in the 3 stars. Let's hear your guys' 3 stars here as we get down towards the end of the stream. We're going to look at the game stats, the shot totals, the 3 stars, look ahead at the schedule just a little bit, and then that's going to be it. So let me know in the chat who were your 3 stars. Also going to read the poll off the results so far. We had about 70% of the vote think that Alex Winberg is going to go to the Rangers. 10% of you think to the Colorado Avalanche, and the other 20% think other. So I would love to hear from you guys. If you think it's another team, let me know in the chat who you think that's going to be, or in the comments if you're watching the replay. Would love to hear some banter about the trade deadline and where you think Alex Winberg is going to end up. Okay, let's look at the game stats, you guys. And thanks again for being on the stream tonight. If you haven't hit that like button, please do it now. Helps out the channel, helps boost the metrics on the video, and it means a lot here. Okay, so shots on goal. Kraken, 30 shots. And we're right back to that. Oh, we have fewer shots on goal, and we lose the faceoffs, and we win the game. So that has been the formula for a while. It feels like it defies logic, but if it works, may as well keep doing it. And it worked again tonight. 38 shots for the Flames, and they won 53% of the faceoffs. They also broke through on the power play once in 4 tries for 25% success rate there. Kraken did not score on the power play tonight, but you know, I thought they played a pretty good game overall. Didn't need a power play goal tonight. Penalty minutes, a lot of them. 53, yeah, a lot. I'm not going to try to do math off the top of my head. I'm really bad at that for some reason, especially when I'm on camera. 23 penalty minutes for the Kraken, 32 for the Flames. But yeah, pretty physical. 25 block shots, and I think probably at least 5 of those were Brandon Tanev. So Turbo just buzzing around. Love seeing him fly around on the ice. Cynthia says, my first star goes to Karche for standing up to Pospisil after the hit on Larson. I like that. Yes, and sometimes, you know, we don't have to do the 3 stars based on just stats. I do like that because Karche, rookie, right? He didn't have to do that. There's plenty of other guys in the lineup that could do that, but he's, you know, physical, big dude, doesn't like seeing his teammates take hits like that, and he stood up, and I like it a lot. Even though he did take that extra penalty, that's just part of the deal sometimes. Gonna drop the gloves and get physical. It's gonna happen. So there's a look at, you know, just kind of the general game stats. We don't go too deep analytically here. Don't have the time to get that ready usually before I go live, but sometimes we'll do the heat maps for Mr. Ty Jacobs, but he's been very busy this year, so we're gonna have to try to get Ty back on the live stream at some point. Shots by period, here's a breakdown, kind of gives you an idea of the flow of the game. Obviously, the Kraken were all over the Flames in the first period. 11 shots, only 2 for the Flames. And if I'm a Flames fan, I'm pretty disappointed that that is my first period effort when I'm 5 points out of a wild card spot. Yeah, not great. Flames fans probably not too thrilled. But the second period was fantastic for Calgary. 18 shots. They clawed all the way back. Like I said in the recap, they evened the shot total at 16. I think it was just about halfway through the second. So it definitely got their momentum going after that first intermission. As bad as the first period was for them, the second was pretty darn good. And then the third period, they kept it coming, another 18 shots. And the Kraken survived being shorthanded at times. And, you know, they scored the shorthanded goal, which really was the moment of the game for me by Jared McCann. Totaling 38 shots for Calgary, 30 for Seattle, like we just said. But that's a look at the flow, the breakdown a little bit. Here's the 3 stars. Thanks, Cynthia, for weighing in. Megan, Spartan, Gregory, everybody. Shiny stuff. Good to have you, Alicia. Thank you guys for being here tonight. It's been a lot of fun. Let's look at the 3 stars. Oh, I should have told you who mine were. Jared McCann, number 1 star. It says 0 goals, 1 assist, so I don't know. That didn't update. Because he definitely had 1 goal. Maybe we should just... Can we refresh that? I see his goal on there too. Yeah. I don't know. A little glitch in the matrix there. Because he definitely scored shorthanded. Kuzmenko, 2 goals tonight. Close to having a hat trick as well, but didn't. Philip Grubauer, 36 saves, 947 save percentage. Grubauer, again, comes through for the Kraken at a key moment late in the season. We continue to have a glimmer of hope. You guys, it's not over yet. The math is possible. Let's look at the standings real quick here. Then we're going to wrap up. Now, this is going to be all out of whack for just a second. Let me switch over to the wild card picture. That gives you a little bit better look, but we got to get the Kraken on screen here. Hold on just a second. There we go. We're just going to adjust this a little bit. I wish I didn't have to do that. I wish the Kraken were a little bit higher in the ranks, but so there you go. 65 points. We draw even with Calgary. We have the same number of games played. I believe they have the tiebreaker in the wins or regulation or overtime wins column there. So that puts them just ahead of us. 67 points for the Blues. So that's kind of the next notch, right? That you want to try to jump over at some point, and then you set your target, set your sights on either Nashville or Los Angeles. You just have to keep working at it. You've got to win as many games as you can. It's not going to be easy to make up ground with teams active in front of you as well. It's never easy. Any sport, baseball, basketball, football, when you're trying to make up ground, the margin for error, super slim, hard to do. So we'll see. I'm hopeful, but I'm also realistic. It's going to be a tough one for the Kraken to make up that amount of ground with only, 21 games left. Right? 21. Doing math in my head on the live stream again. All right, so let's look at the schedule. Like I said, tomorrow heading into Winnipeg. That's a 7 p.m. No, sorry. That's a 5 p.m. start time, March 5th. And then back home against the Jets. So that's kind of a home and home there series type of deal. You go back to Climate Pledge, and that's a 7 p.m. start time. Back home for 4 in a row, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 5. I have it cut off there at the bottom, but yeah, either way, a homestand coming up for the Kraken where they could do some additional damage, but they're going to face the Jets and Golden Knights right away when they get back home. Neither of those teams are easy, and you can see the Predators down there on March 16th. That's going to be a big one as well, potentially, as things start to shape up in the wild card race. You guys, that's going to be it for tonight's stream. Like I mentioned earlier, thank you for being here. Hit that like button before you log out and leave a comment if you're watching in the replay. If you don't subscribe to the podcast, please do. Got new episodes coming out quite often over there recently, so keep up with me over on X in the meantime, you guys, and thanks again for enjoying that Kraken win with me. You can see the score there is also wrong, so we're going to fix that right before we go here. Flames 2, Kraken 4. Just want to be thorough. There it is. Kraken win 4-2, and that's it for tonight's stream, you guys. Have a good one. We'll catch you next time here at Sasquatch NHL. Go Kraken.